Hi, welcome to Book Buzz with Penguin Random House and a Likely Story and Carroll County Public Library's Book Lovers Week. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We'd also like to thank Carroll County Public Libraries, Prince George's County Memorial Library System, Penguin Random House, and Cheryl, Judy, and Emily for joining us today with their wonderful book choices. We have put a link in the chat window. Please download. You can print this. These are all the books that we will be talking about today, and any comments in the chat window as well. And we'll get back to them as soon as we can. Thank you very much for joining us, Cheryl, Kelly, and Judy, and go get started.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Kelly. I am the adult sales rep at Penguin Random House, and I have a few titles that I want to talk about for the fall. This is a big season for us. We've got some great books. So this is just kind of a taste of some of the books out there. So the first title I want to discuss is The Searcher by Tana French. This goes on sale early October, and this is a hardcover. For all of you Tana French fans that like the Dublin series, this one is a standalone. So if you enjoyed The Witch Elm, which was also a standalone, this is a great one. We meet Cal Hooper. He is a fixer-upper in an Irish village, and he's just ready to kind of take an escape and kind of get out of some craziness. He was 25 years on the Chicago police force. He went through a bad divorce, and he just needs a new spot and a good pub where nothing much happens. So this has that, that great feel of rural Ireland that Tana French is known for. So he gets involved when a local kid whose brother has gone missing arm twists him into investigating, and then we take it off from there. So if anybody has not read Tana French before, she's kind of spellbinding, she's propulsive, she's just an amazing kind of suspenseful page turner kind of author. So this one, like I said, comes out early October. So my next title is by Nick Hornby, Just Like You. And Nick Hornby has been around for a long time. His oldie but goodie book is called High Fidelity, which was also a movie. So I think there might be some younger readers that don't know him, but I'm really excited for them to try this contemporary book from him. So Just Like You is a pacey fun read, and I had not read him before, but I actually fell in love with all of the characters in the story. So we meet Lucy. She's a single mom, and she's trying to get through life with her two young sons, and dealing with her ex-husband, who is unfortunately an alcoholic. So she's doing her Saturday errands one day with one of her kooky friends, and they start to notice Joseph, who works at the butcher shop. They start to notice how cute and maybe kind of sexy he is. But they're older than he is. They're teachers and administrators. He's from a different socioeconomic background. He's from a different generation. In love with the characters. There really isn't a character in this book that I did not love. I laughed so much during this. I took this book to the beach, and it just sucked up my days. And I read it quickly, and I embarrassed myself and my daughter because I was laughing like a fool. So this book also is great for today's culture because he does hit some of these hot topic issues that we're dealing with, but it's set in the UK. So you also get the perspective of the UK and some of the political issues that they're going through. So this is a fantastic read. The next book on my list is 50 Words for Rain by Asha Lemmy. This is a historical fiction novel. So for any of you that have attended our book chats before, you all know that I am truly a historical fiction junkie. And this book from page 1 just pulled me right in. This is set in World War II. And it's post-World War II set in Japan. And we meet Nori, who's the daughter of basically a Japanese princess who's had an affair with a black GI. So Nori, let's just lay it out there. She's a bastard, and she's not treated well. Her life is full of shame She is abused as she is hidden away, but she finds out that she's got a brother who is kind of next in line for the royal family. And he takes her under his wing and takes care of her. The loyalty and the love between the brother and sister is such a huge element of this story. And I just was captivated by it. So this is not a stretch either. I want to take a comparison here and say where the Crawdads Sing, Gentlemen of Moscow, and a touch of early Lisa C. is definitely great for this. The next book I want to talk about is The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. So this is a book that actually comes out January 5th of next year. This author is a social media powerhouse. He's also known as the son of Baldwin. Now this too is, we consider this literary historical fiction. The writing here is actually so beautiful. It's poetic. It is not a stretch to say you can compare his writing to Toni Morrison. If anybody is young enough to remember watching the miniseries Roots, I remember watching that and feeling like I was part of something so much bigger. And that's what this book felt like to me. This is the story of two gay slaves in the South, and we follow their story and their struggles and the love and respect of their life. It is a beautiful story. This is probably going to be one of the biggest books next year, and I guarantee everybody's going to be hearing about it. The last book on my list is called American Democracy. This is a $21 hardcover. It comes out in October. And I think this is a great alternative for those who want to take a step back and look into the past for inspiration and guidance as we hit our election season. American Democracy, this book presents many key writings from past, which actually addresses some contemporary issues now. So some examples that are of the selections in this book are Frederick Douglass. He has a letter that is entitled, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July." George Washington has a letter to a Hebrew congregation in Newport, Virginia. There's a letter in there from Martin Luther King from the Birmingham jail. We also have a letter from Jane Addams, and it's really seeing her perspective and analysis of gender and social class. So I think this is a great book. This could also maybe be considered a great gift book also. So those are my select titles for the fall. I know, Debbie, did you want to say anything about the Penguin list? Is there anything you wanted to add?
I wanted to say that the Ken Follett new book just came out. This is the prequel to Pillars of the Earth, which is a staff favorite, a book club favorite. I'm actually rereading Pillars of the Earth because it's been so long. I wanted to, check it out again. So this is out now and we have plenty in stock if anybody would like to pick this up. It is very much a tome, but it is fabulous. Thanks, Cheryl.
Oh, also, isn't 50 Words for Rain a staff pick too?
Yes, it is. 50 Words for Rain is a staff pick, as well as a Good Morning America book club pick. Thank you.
Okay, on to my cohorts. I don't know if it's Judy or Emily who's up next.
It's me. I'm Judy. I sell the Random House adult, half of the Random House adult list. So I'm going to be talking to you about some of the Random House imprints and the Crown imprints. So our first one up is Judy Pico. This went on sale yesterday. This is from the #1 best-selling author of Small Great Things and A Spark of Light. This is a riveting novel about the choices that we make and the course that our lives take from those choices that we make. It is a fascinating exploration of life. It's Egyptology, it's Egyptian history, there's physics, there's also the story of wondering and regret and how life might have turned out had the heroine made different choices. It's rich in detail, descriptions. It's a multi-layered story that Jody is so known for telling. The one thing I will point out is that this is not an issues-driven book. I know the fascination with some of her books is that they are so deep in issues. This is not. This is just a great story coming from her. There is also an audio edition of that one.
Also, we have signed copies in stock, and we have plenty of signed copies in stock, and this is also a staff pick as well.
Yay. The second one is Naomi Novak. You may recognize that name. She's done some great books in the past, Uprooted, Spinning Silver. This is the start of a new series from her. It's a dark female heroine that is sort of along the lines of a Harry Potter-ish character. It's set in a magical school where failure means death. The MC of the story is half Indian, half Welsh, dark sorcerer. And P.S. a lot of the features in here are dark. There's monsters, there's just a lot of sorcery. You're not getting a plot from me, because I think the part of this that I loved the best was that the pure enjoyment of reading this is that you go in blind and you have no idea what is coming. So don't read any of the excerpts or any of the blurbs about it. Let's see, and that goes on sale, I think, next week. So that's not on sale yet, but it'll be on sale next week. Next up, we have The Wonder Boys of Whistle Stop. This is our dear Fanny Flagg going back to her roots, back to the fried green tomatoes. You know, it's been decades, 30 years, I think, 25 years since readers were introduced to the Whistle Stop. This is characters that she's bringing back from there, so you catch up on them, but this is true Fanny Flagg's voice. It's folksy, it's down home, it's that Southern tale that resonates for any small town. It does not specifically have to be Southern. Many characters debuted in previous books, but this really is a standalone. She gives you enough in the beginning to catch you up to those characters. It's just a heartwarming novel about secrets, youth rediscovered, hometown memories, everyday magic. And, you know, if you haven't read Fried Green Tomatoes or it's been a while, go back and reread just the joy of that story. And that has on sale date of October 27th. So that's not too far away. The next one is Miss Benson's Beetle. This story I absolutely loved. And I want to point out, this is a trade paperback original. So this will have reading group guide in the back of the book. This is from the author of The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, which I just loved him. And again, that's another one. If you haven't read that one, or you haven't read that one in a while, go back and read Harold Fry. But this is the story of two women. They have nothing in common. One of them is a school marm. She's not married. She's lonely, and she's alone in a world that is set like in the 50s. So she goes on a trek to find this beetle. And it's just, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. And I feel like she is the female version of Harold Fry. She's funny, she's quirky, and it's an escape and a great read. And that also doesn't come out until November, so we've got a little while for that one yet. My last book is the untold story of Willie Nelson and his sister Bobby, and it's called Me and My Sister Bobby. It is alternating chapters from the two. Bobby is his sister. She's 89 and she still tours with Willie. And this is just their story. This is looking at you know, how they found love of music, and that was the thing that really brought them together. They pretty much raised themselves, and you know, Willie's been very outspoken, but this really is a true feel-good memoir for these two, and it went on sale last week, so this one should be in the bookstore, and go pick up a copy.
Oh, cool.
I think it's
Think I'm
Emily.
next? Great. I sell the Knopf and Doubleday lines for Penguin Random House, the adult side. So I'm going to start with The Zealot and the Emancipator by one of my favorite historians, H.W. Brands. This is the story of John Brown and Abraham Lincoln. And every portrait I've ever seen of John Brown, he's had the most amazing bedhead. So it's just sort of how he is. He thought God spoke to him and told him that he needs to free the slaves using any means possible. And to him, that meant violence. Abraham Lincoln sort of heard the same calling, and he thought the way to do this is through politics. So this book is sort of a double biography focusing on one subject and two different perspectives and two different actions to lead to the same goal. Of course, we know John Brown had a lot of Virginia, so it's a little local, but if you have somebody in your family that loves Civil War and you think they have every book they could ever have about the Civil War, this is something completely different, new perspective, and it probably has one of the most amazing jackets you're going to see this fall. So opening up a gift with this book in there is going to be a little bit of a haha, I got you, because it's a great book and you don't have anything in your collection like it. So that goes on sale October 6th. Wonderful read. And then my next one is from an author you might have heard of. He's up and coming. His name is John Grisham. So he has a book coming out. You might remember A Time to Kill with Jake Brigance, who was played by Matthew McConaughey in the movie. This is a follow-up to that called A Time for Mercy. And it's sequel to Time to Kill. It's set in the 1990s. It has all the things you love about Jake Brigance, which is courthouse scheming, small town politics, lots of plot twists and gossip and all the fun. And Matthew McConaughey posted a picture of him reading the ARC. So let's hope he's back to play it again, to play Jake Brigance again. So that comes out on sale October 13th. And we all love a good Grisham in the fall. My third book is from one of my favorite authors, top 5 easy, probably. One is Ya Jessie's Transcendent Kingdom. She wrote Homegoing, which has been a passion project since day one for me. And I'm so happy to have a sophomore book from her. No sophomore slump. It's amazing. Ron Charles, who's the book critic for the Washington Post, called it blazing brilliance. That's the story of Gifty, who's a neuroscientist at Stanford, and she's a Ghanaian American, and she's devised this test for mice where they push a little lever and sometimes they get a treat, sometimes they get zapped, and she separates out the mice that even if they get zapped repeatedly always keep coming back for the treat, like me in the fridge, keep coming back. And she wants to look at them as they're addicted to it, because little do her coworkers know that her brother's battling with addiction. So she's got a personal calling to try and find the roots of addiction, and she's using these mice. And at the same time, she's dealing with, she grew up in an evangelical household. She's starting to go away from religion, but she still finds the Bible beautiful and useful. And at the same time, she's finding science to be very narrow-minded. So she's combining those two worlds too, trying to figure out what is her path for the future. They both have sort of narrow views, and there can't be an all or nothing. You can't be just religious or just science. There's got to be a happy middle. So just a gorgeous thing. And do I see a signed copy sticker on that book?
You do. We have signed copies in the store. So we are getting this has been out a couple weeks. And so we are getting down in our stock of signed copies. So I would get this as soon as possible if you want a signed copy.
I want a signed copy. I didn't get a signed copy. Anyway, I love y'all. Anyway, my fourth is V2, a novel of World War II by Robert Harris. He's a fantastic mystery writer, and he was obsessed with V2 rockets, as we all are. And the Nazis used them during World War II, and there's not a lot written about the Nazi rocket program. So he takes that rocket program and makes it into his fictional world, where there is a rocket engineer named Willy Graf, who is launching rockets to London out of occupied Holland. And then and he's on the Nazi side. And then on the Allied side, you have Kay Connolly, who's an English spy, and she's tasked with finding where the rockets are launching from and finding a way to report that back so they can properly dismantle these launching programs. Enter into the mix of these two opposing forces a saboteur. Somebody seems to be sabotaging the V2 rockets. Willie has to find him to stop him. Kay wants to find him to go, yay, good job, do more. And so both of these people are looking for the same person, and they're coming from different sides. So there's going to be a meetup, it's going to be explosive, and then you have the mystery of the saboteur. So if it's a great World War II novel that is not something written about very often. So it has a lot of checkpoints there. That comes out November 17th. So just in time when you can't figure out, oh my gosh, I have to get a gift for some blah, 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 because I've completely left them off my list. There we go. That's a great one. V2, a novel of World War II by Robert Harris. And my last one, completely different, is Where I Come From, Stories from the Deep South by Rick Bragg. Love Rick Bragg. He is one of those people that you wish you could invite him over to dinner because he has just the best stories. So this is a collection of his best articles from Southern Living and Garden and Gun. And they deal with everything from his love of Tupperware to the decline of country music to the legacy of Harper Lee in the South to the metamorphosis of the pickup truck. So these are just great short stories that you just want to sit outside, sip some lemonade, and just read something that's going to put a smile on your face and feel very down home. Rick Bragg is definitely the one to ask to come over in book form to entertain you. That's called Where I Come From, Stories from the Deep South, and that goes on sale October 27th. And right before Halloween, you can dress up as Rick Bragg for Halloween, right? With your Tupperware, drive your pickup truck, life is good. So that's my wonderful list coming this fall.
And Judy, are you going to give us a sneak peek on something?
I am. There is a little book that we just announced last week that is a drop-in that's going on sale in November. I was frantically trying to pull up, and I was able to get the jacket. I don't know how well it's going to portray on there.
Yeah.
But we have announced A Promised Land. It's the memoir, volume 1 of Barack Obama. It's the story of his history, the faith of a community. It just looks at, he's candid about balancing the act of running for office as a Black American, bearing the expectations of a generation. Just hope and change has always been his kind of mantra. This is beautifully written. It's powerful. It captures his convictions that democracy is not a gift, that it is something founded on empathy and common understanding, and is built together day by day. So I think, pre-order this with Debbie, and I think it's going to be just a great book for the holiday and has a 2-page, 16 total pictures in the center of the book.
Well, thank you all very much for a wonderful book chat as always. Look forward to our next one when we get it scheduled. Thank you for being part of Carroll County's Book Lovers Week. Hopefully next year we'll be able to do this in person. Thank everybody this afternoon for joining us, and look forward to tomorrow night. We're having Anne Marie Stevens for her story time at 7 p.m. So join in with Facebook Live for our story time with Arithmetics and Anne Marie Stevens. Good afternoon, everybody.